Thank you, thank you. Appreciate that very much. It's a delight to be here. It's a delight to see a nice crowd out, and I do believe that the polls are correct. There will be major changes next Tuesday. Believe it. When people ask me about the change that's likely to come, I said, there was a time it took the Democrats 40 years to mess up and the Republicans take over again. It looks like it only took them 4 years this time. But our country is in a mess, and it's probably not a partisan mess because we as Republicans and conservatives have not done our job either. We have had a chance in the past to cut back on government, and we have not done the job. It has taken the attention of the Tea Party people to come out and say, look, we want you to do a lot better. So I think what's happening with the Tea Party movement these last couple of years has just been fantastic. And the people in Washington are paying attention. I have been convinced that governments generally reflect the people. Governments, even dictatorships, when they lose favor with the people, they eventually get rid of the dictators. So government that we've had and we've been unhappy with was a result of the people being too complacent because we were fat and happy. We were living well. Our prosperity seemed to be would be with us forever. But what didn't dawn on a lot of people is the prosperity that we've had for the many, many decades now has been built on borrowing, spending, inflation, running up debt, and it came to an end. The end of that situation came in the year 2000, and that was when the NASDAQ bubble broke, and since that time it's been a struggle for the middle class. The middle class suffers when they destroy a currency. There's a transfer of wealth from the poor and the middle class to the very wealthy. And the best example of that has been on the bailout. Who got bailed out? Did the little people get bailed out? The people that were supposed to be helped? No, it was Wall Street, and that has to stop. Because we are in such a mess, people will ask me, well, what should we do? And I said, well, it's not complicated. As far as I'm concerned, we got into this mess for one reason. We had too many people in Washington that didn't take their oath of office seriously, and all we need are a group of people in Washington to take their oath to obey the Constitution, and we could get out of this mess rather quickly. Now, there may be a few of you in the audience that might remember the first time I ran for Congress a long time ago, and it was back in the 70s. I had been there for 4 terms, but did not want to give up my medical practice. I had not yet delivered 4,000 babies, and I was aiming for 4,000 babies. So I went back into practice for 12 years, and then came back into Congress in '97. But during this period of time, we have seen nothing but the expansion of government. But from the very beginning, even in the 70s, the first time I ran, it was concerned about the monetary system. It wasn't that money was the most important issue. To me, the most important issue, and the issue that should drive all of us, is the issue of individual liberty. Liberty is protected when government is small and dedicated to the protection of liberty. If government is allowed to grow endlessly for various reasons, it's all done at the expense of your personal liberty. So in the 20th century, things changed dramatically back, especially in the 19-teens, in 1913 in particular, because it was the onset of the belief that the American people wanted us to have an American empire and a welfare state. But they knew also the American people wouldn't cough up and pay it in taxes. But they did introduce the income tax, but it was only for the wealthy, just a little bit, a 1% income tax. It wouldn't be much, and the average person wouldn't have to worry about it. But also, they knew that they needed the tax money to run this big government. But they also had to have one other system of confiscation of wealth from the people, a seductive way of confiscating wealth. And that has to do with the debasement of currency. Everybody I know with just a minimal common sense would say, if you keep doubling and tripling the supply of money, won't it lose its value?